What a divisional round setup we have here. Many stories coming around, many upsets, many historic rivalries. It's all of that and more here today on SNS. Now, before we get into this predictions video, let me break it down for you guys, putting this into 5 sections so you can skip around to where you want, or you can watch the whole thing, but here's what to expect. First, we're going to have game picks. That's where I'm simply going to be predicting the 4 winners of the 4 games. Next up, we are going to have score picks, where I'm going to be calling the scores of all 4 of those games. Next, we have my playoff picks, where I'm going to be using my winners, and I'm going to be predicting all the way to the Super Bowl who I think is going to win. Fourth, we have the SNS keys to the game, where we're going to be very quickly breaking down how each team can win. And finally, number 5, my wild card picks result, where we are going to be taking a look at how my wild card picks panned out and compared to how I think the rest of them are going to pan out for the rest of the season, the rest of the playoffs that I predicted then. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into the game picks. We have 4 wonderful games that we have this weekend. Ravens-Texans, that's going to be incredible. Chiefs-Bills is going to be incredible. Niners-Packers, watch out. And Buccaneers-Lions is also just going to be such a good game. But let's get into predicting these now. First up is Ravens-Texans. I'm very excited for this game, and the Texans could do it. CJ Stroud is incredible. What a great story that's been this year to get them back to the divisional round here, but it's hard to pick against the Ravens. They've been so dominant. I know 2019 off the bye, all that crazy stuff, 14-2, but this year I feel like has been different. They haven't been relying fully on Lamar Jackson. They have some really good receivers, and their defense is phenomenal. And I just think the Texans are undermatched in all categories here. The Texans could win it. Don't be shocked if they do, but they could, but it's going to be an offensive game, and I'm going to have to take the Ravens to win it. Next up, we have San Francisco and Green Bay, and I'm actually calling the upset. I'm going with Green Bay here on the road. The Niners, they just haven't looked the same since that Baltimore game. Yeah, they dominated some bad teams, but ever since I saw that Baltimore game, they're human. And Green Bay right now is not looking human. Jordan Love is looking phenomenal. The real final score of that game was 48-16. The rest of those were all garbage time points from the Dallas Cowboys. And I think the 49ers are going to let Green Bay have the ball, because we saw Kyle Shanahan said that he's not changing his coin toss strategy for the game, and then Packers are getting off to a hot start, and when they get off to a hot start, they're kind of hard to stop. And I think Jordan Love year 1 is going to go right back to the NFC Championship game. Buffalo Bills, I'm going to take them over the Kansas City Chiefs. Here is why. The Chiefs have tormented them so many times over the years. I think at this point it is just going to stop. The Bills are just so much better this year. The Chiefs obviously haven't looked the same, and I think that this is where it's going to come crashing down. And if they do make it to the championship game, I wouldn't even give them a chance. Well, okay, I'd give them a chance, but not much of a chance. Bucs-Lions, this one I hate to say, it is pretty cut and dry. Detroit's, I think, is going to come out on top. Tampa Bay could give them trouble, though. They played really well. If I had to pick any one of these 4 that I think I'd get wrong, I'd pick that Bucs-Lions game, because that really could go either way in my eyes. Score predictions here for the AFC. I'm taking Houston 31, Baltimore 34. The reason why I'm taking it as such an offensive game, as I said, is these are 2 really high-powered offenses, incredible quarterbacks. The receiving talent is up and coming, and I think this is just a really easy to see how offensive this game could get. I think that is going to be a game-winning field goal. It's going to be a really fun game to watch, entertaining game to watch. We have Chiefs-Bills. I see this being defensive like the previous game they had. I think the Chiefs are going to have 1 touchdown and maybe like 3 or 4 field goals there to get to 16, maybe 2 touchdowns. The Bills are going to be kicking a field goal, 17-16. They're going to be kicking a field goal to go up by 4. Mahomes is going to get the ball back, and then he's going to throw a beautiful pass to the end zone, but Kadarius Toney is going to be offsides, and then he's going to throw a pick, and the Bills are going to win. Exactly like that, mark my words. For the NFC, Packers 34-28 over San Francisco. It's going to start off as a shootout. Packers are going to take, I think, probably headed into the 4th quarter, maybe something like a 31-21 lead. The Niners are going to score. Packers are going to go out in the field and get a field goal, but the Niners just won't be able to punch it in to win. 34-20, it's going to be the final there. Next up, we have Tampa Bay and Detroit, 23-31. I think that's going to be 3 field goals for Tampa Bay. They're just going to have trouble finding the end zone against the Detroit defense. I think the drops may carry over a little bit, which could stun them, but Detroit's going to find the end zone 4 times. And in the fourth quarter, I think this is going to be the final score. It's going to end on a Jared Goff kneel down. Ravens-Bills here in this game, I think it's hard to pick against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They're a really well-rounded team, and ultimately, Buffalo, Josh Allen, they're inconsistent. They have turnover games. I think they're going to have some against the Chiefs, but this is just going to be a game where I don't even know how close it's going to be. It's going to be good, but I think in the second half, Baltimore is going to pull away with some Josh Allen interceptions, and that Ravens defense is too good not to get interceptions. Packers lines, it's in Detroit. And, dude, I'll tell you, Cinderella story continues. I'm taking Green Bay. It's hard to pick against Detroit. And, honestly, my better conscience is telling me that Detroit would win this game. But I just have a gut feeling that Green Bay would win this round 3 here. They went 1-1 in the series. Both times the away team was victorious. In this case, Green Bay's the away team. But that's not really why I'm picking them. I'm picking them because I think they're going to get off to a hot start again. And I think that hot start, Detroit is going to play their ball. They're not going to adjust. They're not going to, if they win the coin toss, they're not going to take the ball, right? And they're not going to be adjusting for this really high-powered Green Bay offense. They're not going to be playing any differently than they normally do. And I just don't think Dan Campbell, I'm sorry, I just don't think they're going to have enough respect for that Green Bay offense. And I think it's going to be a disastrous game for Detroit. It's going to be close. It's going to be good. And I don't think the score is going to reach the 30s, but it very well could. So next up, we have the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Guy Pev. So that says Super Bowl 57. Super Bowl 58. I don't know why there's only 2 eyes there. But Super Bowl 58. I think it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens, and I think it's going to be the Green Bay Packers. And I'm going to have to take the Baltimore Ravens. I think John Harbaugh is a person who, if he wins the coin toss, he's going to take the ball, he's going to understand, he's going to respect his team, he's going to try to beat them at their own game. And I just think the Ravens offense can go stride for stride with this Green Bay defense. With this Green Bay offense, and the Green Bay defense won't be able to stand up to Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens defense, I just think, is too good. It's the best defense that the Packers will have seen in their playoff run. And I think it's going to be a good game, but I don't even know how close it will be. This is my Super Bowl prediction. So final part of this video, actually next to the last part of this video, but we're going to take a look at the keys to the game. I'm going to try to make this rather quick. Baltimore, they need to play their normal ball. They need to make it a short game. The shorter the game, the better it is for the Ravens, and they need to prevent the home run plays, these C.J. Stroud bombs to Tank Adele. And if they can force the Texans into a running situation, that's going to be fantastic. The Ravens need to be draining clock as they go. I know draining clock and forcing them into a running situation seems like those counteract each other, but if they can stop the deep play, they're going to anyway. And the Ravens, they need to keep the Texans antsy. They need to keep them nervous. They need to take advantage of the fact that the Texans are a young team and they're inexperienced. For the Texans, they cannot let Baltimore get a big lead, because recently the Ravens have gotten leads, they've held it, and then they go out and then they win. That's what the Ravens have been doing. The Texans need to keep stride for stride with the Baltimore offense, or Stroud for Stroud with the Baltimore offense, and they need to be able to have a lead heading into the fourth quarter. And let Stroud cook, pass heavy offense, high octane, big plays. Chiefs-Bills game, Chiefs need to get in the Bills' heads. This is obviously a big psychological rivalry here between these two teams, and they need to catch the ball. They need to play like they did in Miami. Their offense got loose in that game. It was really good to watch. They need to be able to carry that over. For Buffalo, they need to have a short memory in the game and from past games. Physically, when Josh Allen throws a pick, they need to trust their defense. They need to get back out there and act like it didn't happen. And speaking of picks, they need their defense to outdo the Chiefs' offense or have limited turnovers. Their defense can outdo the KC offense. Josh Allen will throw 4 interceptions and they can still win the game, which is very doable based off what we've seen in the Chiefs' offense. But if they have limited turnovers, then I think they're going to be fine even if the Chiefs' offense scores on most of their drives. Next up, we have Green Bay and San Francisco. The Packers need to get out to a hot start. I've said that a lot. If they don't do that, they're not going to win the game. They need to get the lead. They need to hold the lead. And not let a fourth quarter comeback happen, and maybe not sit your starters like it did in the Dallas game. The Niners need to keep stride for stride with Jordan Love, and they need to have a better game defensively than Green Bay. They need to be able to try to shut down that offense, especially in the second half, so they can come back and win this game if Green Bay does get off to that hot start. Next up, we have the Bucs and the Lions. The Bucs need to keep momentum from the last game, and finally, they need to play like underdogs. I mean, they are the underdogs. They just need to play like it, like they did in Philly. Play with house money, as I guess is the term that I've been hearing a lot. They need to play with house money. They need to they be underdogs, play like underdogs, be aggressive, And if you're Detroit, you're the better team. Do not get overly aggressive. Play to match Tampa Bay, because they will make the mistake first. If they kick a field goal, you have a 4th and 2 on your own 30, on their 30, kick the field goal. All right, if you match them, they will make the first mistake, and you need to not be overly aggressive, because if you are and you miss on those, then they will lose this game. All right, here is how my wild card picks turned out. So I had clean sweep. I got the AFC all right. In the NFC, I only missed one game. I picked LA to beat Detroit. I picked Matthew Stafford instead of Jared Goff. Made a mistake there. I called the upset in Green Bay, I called the upset in Houston, and I called the upset for LA, and that just didn't pan out. But here's a look at my championship predictions from the wild card round. I had predicted the AFC championship game to be Bills and Ravens, and in my divisional round picks, I still have Bills and Ravens. I think that's going to hold. For the NFC, I had Rams Niners. Obviously, that can't hold because the Rams lost, but I actually don't even think the Niners are going to be in it now. I have Packers Lions, so I completely changed my championship prediction from Packers Lions, from Niners Rams to Packers Lions. But my AFC, I think my wild card AFC pick, I still think that's going to end up being right. Now that is going to do it for this video. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, because it helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. It makes me very happy. Comment down below what you agree or disagree with. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week on SNS.